Good morning, everyone. My name is Sedrick Estrada. I study at Sedrick Universidad. I'm a senior, and this is my third year participating in the WorldLink Youth Town meeting. Our speaker today is Mr. Sedrick Murhula. He's the director and founder of the Young African Refugees for Integral Development Association. Well, it's your turn, Sedrick.
Thank you. You're welcome once again for this very beautiful, handsome session. As you can see, beautiful faces and handsome faces here this morning. It's really exciting. As he said, my name is Sedrick Murhula, but my name keeps changing from wherever I go and circumstances of where my life takes me. And I'm a founder director of Young African Refugees for Integral Development, which is a non-youth organization operating in Uganda, Kampala. And I've had this privilege of speaking on 7th annual WorldLink Town meeting on issues of refugees and things that reflect youth in today's world in change areas. And while we're going to that step, I'm going to tell you a little bit about refugees. And in definition, a refugee is any person that is forced to leave his or her country because of fear of persecution, death, or natural disasters. And worldwide, we have more than 10.4 million refugees, which is a huge number. Where am I from? I'm from Congo, which is the second biggest country in Africa, after the division of Sudan. This country has been having conflicts in more than 3 decades today, since its colonialism time up to now, with many borders, as you can see. And what are the main causes of Congo, which is my country? The very main cause of Congo is natural resources. Congo has got a lot of natural resources that are exploited by other countries for economic benefit, but leaving Congo poor. We've got resources that are huge and immense to develop and to build the Congo. But Congolese do not benefit into any of those natural resources. And you can see as the list is endless, by cobalt, copper, diamond, gold, some other that I know you never even heard about them. Do somebody has a phone here? You have a phone? Yeah, I'm not saying that you're contributing to the war in Congo, no. But the material that is making the phones and everything comes from my country. Guns, bombs, and a lot of stuff. That's why they say Congo is potentially one of the richest countries on earth. But colonialism, slavery, and corruption are turning to one of the poorest. I'm telling you today, Congo is one of the poorest countries in the world. But also one of the richest countries. Isn't it funny? Funny or weird or stupid, I don't know how you can call it. That's how I look at how Congo looks like. And this conflict has got more than 500 Congolese to flee the country in 2012 report by UNHCR. 2 million women are raped. That's why they always say Congo is not a place for women and girls to be, because more than 48 women are raped every hour. Isn't it crazy? More than crazy. Don't count about number of child soldiers. Don't count even about number of people that are being killed in a very short period of time. More than 3 to 4 million of people, million of Congolese have died into Congo. You know, this is the biggest number of death of people dying in the world after the First World War and the Second World War. But no one talk about, if I may ask, how many of you know about the story of Congo and everything? Raise your hand. Few. But no one talk about it. So how does it look like being a refugee? How does it look like being a young refugee? How does it feel? Where do you think your life takes you? It's too bad. Let me show you a short video that describes how you can feel when you're a refugee, on how young refugees feel when they are refugees or when they are facing all this. Watch this.
Nitamwimbia Jehova kwa kuwa yeye ananiona.
Kwa kukomala Mkongo ni maisha magumu sana.
Tulitokaka juu walikuwa naua watu, tukakimbia, ndio tukafika huko.
Basi hii maisha ya kudeplase imenifaa kuwa yatima, sina wazazi.
Tuko na maisha mabaya sana. Jua tuko kwetu, kulala, vula ikinyesha sisi wote ni kulobana. Kama samgizi mimi hapa mwenye kwa mtoto wa kidogo nikumubeba mimi nalala nina simama.
Vitu namaliza watu Mkongo.
Tunasikiaka juu paske tunaonaka wamigu wako wakufa.
Ninakopaka juu tikalia na kimbia tena mie peke.
Vitu wote watoto wa Kongo yote wakaibeba, wanyanyasi wakakuya wakabeba vile vitu wa watoto wa Kongo.
Mie tulikuwa make ile saa tulikuwa nakimbia. Sema katukutana mchia tulikuwa wawili nabo ni baine, bakatukuta bawili bakanikamata, bawili na wengine bawili bakakamata mwenzetu, juu walikuwa baine.
Mama ashatoka na nani na wale walikuwa hasa papa na kusema nyangule abebe shakoshe ya vitu njoo sabuni penye kamkutana mule njoo kamua.
Wakati mabombe zilikuwa naanguka niliona mkono yenye likatikaka ya mtoto wa seta. Ndio nikashituka make bishani bakilia tu mafikiri.
Kukula inakuwa kwa shida, kuvala kwa shida, pia na kupata nafasi ya kukua inakuwa shida.
Mimi naogopa njaa juu kwetu niko na shinda niko nakula. Saa hii leo niko nakula limoya musiku na ninalala njaa.
Ni kukula kitu kidogo yenye nishapata ndio ndakula.
Kujidebulengizi wanaweza kula. Mimi naenda mpori. Nikileta makuni au kwenda bebeana mizigo. Haiko bieju tunafika kule wanatukimbiza, wamama wanawabaka na wengine wanakimbia, unafika kuna ushalumia.
Ninalamuka na 5 naomba Mungu, nina rense, nenda kumasomo natoka kumasomo. Ninaanza jidebrie nione kama ndapata vya kukula magharibi.
Mtoto yatima kile kinamfurahishaka kia kumdistraire kidogo kidogo kama mtu anafaaka juu ya kudistraire mafikiri kwa niko na ipotee ya wazazi.
Napenda matematiki.
Siwezi cheza na wengine juu mkono na mgulu ni kilema. Juu sama ninaweza cheza mubaya wananipiga.
Mimi ndaweza penda nikuwe daktari.
Ekipe yangu mzuri yenye mimi napendaka ni Real Madrid.
Sasa niko naimba na hisikia bien. Na hisikia sama natafika mbinguni.
Nimelamuka, ninaona tena nimelamuka, nasema Mungu ashukuriwe njoo kwa maana na furaha.
Haiko wote ni banusu. Kila mtu anakuwa na chaguo lake.
Pia na walimu wako natufukuza juu hawapate za kulipa kumasomo. Hawapate malipo ya guvernema.
Kwa vita Mkongo mimi sijue kani juni. Kwani mimi sijue Kenya wanakufa na sijue kawa wanakufa nini. Mimi ni mtoto mwenye kuzaliwa hii siku. Sikujua kawa wanafia nini, sikujua kawa alianza vita.
Na nikosea mapendo na kifukutu na kuwakumbuka.
njala iishe, njo ile. Na magonjwa mbalimbali, dawa inakosekana.
Mimi waomba watusaidie tukuwe na muamani. Ile mavita hatuhitaji tena, tunataka amani.
Nitamwimbia Yesu wangu kwa kuwa yeye ananiona.
This is how, when you're a child and you're facing trouble, it looks like. These people, this kid had their family, they had life like yours, and I was in these categories sometime in my life. So, moving to places as a refugee, sometimes there are two directions. Either you go to a refugee camp or to urban area. And going to urban area or deciding to be an urban refugee is just because you decide not to go to a refugee camp and trying to go to the urban area whereby you think life is good or life can be good or having opportunities there. And there are more than 5.5 million refugees worldwide today. And when you look at urban refugees in Uganda, more than 200,000 refugees are in Uganda. And more than 35,000 are living in capital city Kampala, where I was part of that number. And nearly 60,000 Congolese refugees arrived in Uganda in 2013. That means this number of 35 has increased in 2013. And the Congolese are the largest number of refugees in Uganda. I can even say in East Africa today, followed by Somali, Burundis, and Burundians. So when they decide to not stay in a refugee camp, because life in a camp is not a life of human beings. You live like you're living in a forest with animals. No good water, no good sanitation, no health. I lived with people that do movement from a refugee camp to urban area. Why? Maybe they have lost 2, 3 children. They're dying just like this. And being in an urban setting, it doesn't mean that you're now okay, you're now safe. No, because places of where those refugees are living is not also good for human beings. And those are most of the challenges that refugees are facing, whereby you see places where they are living, they don't even have shelter. You know, cleaning condition is not good. You'll see sewages running in front of your door. I was living in this situation. I found myself in a 3x4 room, 6 kids, 2 parents, whereby you see in front of you sewages passing, but you don't know what to do. Poor health facilities, no medications, no treatment. I've seen people dying just because of very, very curable sickness. Just why? Because of no medication, or because of negligence of the government, or rejection of where you can go have those access. Lack of opportunity. Many people do not have jobs. I spent more than 2 years with my parents with no jobs, whereby we just like this. Just the same as this kid are talking. You eat once a day, sometimes you don't. Some people don't even have to eat or anything. They stay at the police station, whereby they can survive by a cup of porridge a day. No education, even though you've been in Uganda or even one of these East African countries as a refugee, in urban areas, there is no access to education. Even though the government might claim that the primary education is free, but it's not. Because the requirement that they put into it is very expensive. And people don't go to school. You may spend more than 15 years without even going to school. Imagine you having a baby and he's 5, 7, 10 without having access to education. Is that fair? No, it's not good. There is rejection into community. The host society rejects people. I remember being insulted by people just because I'm a refugee. All names, go back to your country. What are you doing here? You are bringing poverty here, all those stuff. The host community sometimes reject you. People that face this here, they don't understand what I'm talking about. Physical violence, whereby you are beaten. I've seen people, friends, neighbors, they are beaten by people, just beaten almost to death. Sexual harassment. You know, there are people that do little businesses They may go to town, sell some few stuff, necklaces, or some of the African clothes just to see if they can survive with their kid tomorrow. But even the government agent can rape them or harass them sexually by lying them and telling them the false things. Or we're going to take you to police if you don't do so. We need to have sex with you. And all these things happening. So when you're looking at all these circumstances, there is a challenge of service providers. You know, in a small city whereby there are more than 50,000 refugees, but there are only 2 service providers. That's why you see people line up for services just to see a counselor. I was going sleeping night to get my parents an appointment to go to get a counselor so that they can hear us if we are sick, if there is something we need. You can see people line up as if, you know, you line up, I don't know, to go where. It's really, really, really challenging. But when you look at the policy of urban refugees in paper, you will really feel good. What do they say? There is a security concern, but in place, there is none. Strategy of self-reliance, trying to make people to be self-sufficient. No. There is access to health care. No. We've been rejected even to having treated a simple malaria or headache. There is no access to education, freedom of movement. You know, when you're a refugee, sometimes they even not allow you to go some places. They deny you. If you're in Uganda, they can't allow you to go to Nairobi or to some places. The only place you cannot go is your country. But even internally, people are just like prisoners into the country where they are. And that's where I thought that there is a need of changing things. That's where I founded the organization, at least, that will be responding to some basic needs of the community. And that's where my organization here came. At least trying to bring people together to overcome burdens of vulnerability, become healthy, educated, and self-sufficient, and contributing member of society. While seeing all these challenges, what did we start doing? We started uniting people together in sports. These are people of different cultures and different countries in peace, conflict, and peace management. We started training them because the lack of access to education. We offer English so that they can learn. And most of these people are French and Swahili speakers. We offer them computer training so they can have basics of computer. We offer them HIV and AIDS awareness so they can know, because Uganda is one of the country of high rates of HIV in Africa. Micro enterprises for women to start at least small businesses whereby they can care for their families. Women empowerment, whereby we have a vocational training. They can doing tailoring or sewing clothes or craft and stuff, and they sell, and at least they can help for their life. And in all this, the UNHCR will tell you we have 3 durable solutions to refugees. 1 is voluntary repatriation. 2, integration and resettlement. Voluntary repatriation, it never happened. People sometimes are always forced to go back to country, maybe for political reasons, and so they can be killed or put in jail, the situation of Rwanda. Integration, none of the countries integrated refugees. I've been in Uganda for more than 5 years. I know people that have been in that places for more than 15, in the same to some other countries that I know, but I never seen a country that integrates refugees, except Tanzania that integrated Burundians refugees recently. And that's one of the unique country and unique example of integration. And the third one, which is to me and to everyone, is a very durable solution, is resettlement to the third country. But less than 1% of refugees receive resettlement to the third country. And being resettled is not your right, either your choice. It's for the agencies to decide either you're going to be resettled or not. So there is really a big problem into this. At least United States resettle more than 90% of those numbers, which is good. And that's why I'm fruit of them. I'm here today speaking to you because I'm one of that 1%, less than 1%, and being resettled to the United States today. And before you get to that process of being resettled, there's a lot of stuff. There is a lot of interview. There is a lot of things that you need to pass through. A lot of things that maybe need to remind you your past experience and keep telling your story every day and every time. If you were raped, if you saw your parent killed, if you all participated, you need to keep narrating those things, which to me sometimes it doesn't look fair. So today you are here. You understand a lot of issues. You understand things that are happening in the world. Join and become a member or an agent of change. Raise awareness on things that are happening in the world. Talk about it. Start even a social media trend into these things. Fundraising campaign, if you can, supporting people that are making change in this world. Get your parent involved. Your parents are involving in this or policy making, working in this and there. You can help them get involved in things that are happening. What I always tell people is don't start anything new. Don't start something new. Join what is already being done, because there is a lot of stuff, there is a lot of organizations put in place already. They need only your support. You know, people trying to think that if I start something new, I start something that will help. No. You know, that's why one of my friends always said that NGO stands for nothing is going on. The fact that too many stuff going on, nothing is going on. So support what is already there and things can be changed. What we need is advocate for change and peace in the world. It's the biggest thing. Where there is peace, there is no hunger. Where there is peace, there is no refuge. Where there is peace, there is no lack of education. Where there is peace, everything is good. As you can see, America is okay, and everything is going on here. You can feel being part of society. And I like this quote of Obama that says, change will not come if you wait for someone or for some other person or someone or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change we seek. Don't wait for someone else to make change on your place. We are the change we seek. So today you will hear, you've heard a lot. You're going to learn a lot, and you're learning a lot. Stand up and act. This is the moment to make change into this world. Not only in Africa on refugee issues. There's a lot of stuff going in Syria. There is conflict in Sudan. There is typhoon going there. In fact, change starts from your home, from your classroom, from your school, and from your community. As I was saying today in the opening plenary, it doesn't matter who you were and where you're coming from on the color of your skin. No. What matters is the cause that you're putting into it, and that's what is going to make change. And if you want to join one of the organizations, you can join us. Become our ambassadors. Become our Yarid ambassadors. Advocate for change and refugees around the world. Checking up on website. Follow us on Twitter. Or like our Facebook. Somebody has a phone here? Somebody has a phone? Yeah, make sure that before the end of this day, just check it up on us and maybe giving us a like. Just like us, just to promote what is going on. And this will be very important. Thank you for having me. Thank you for your time. I know it's your time to stand up and act. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Murhula. Now we'll have 15 minutes for questions and answers. Does anyone have a question?
Just ask as many questions as you can. Don't be offended. I'll be happy to respond to.
Well, first of all, this is not like a question. I just wanted to say that I admire you personally. I think that the world needs more people like you, because you're not
Thank you.
those persons that just want a change. You're one of those that make the change.
Thank you.
So I really thank you for giving us this presentation, because you're giving us an awareness that it's incredible. I was amazed about the numbers you just said, and I have no words. I'm speechless. But also, I wanted to ask you, you said that you're 23.
Yes, I am.
You're too young to make such a great change. I mean, it's a big change for the place that you've come from. So do you have any plans for the future, like, or you're just going to stay with this organization, or do you have something else planned but this?
I think I'm still working hard to have, I always say that I haven't done anything that I want to do. And what I want to do is being part of the policy makers and see if I can at least access to those big fishes and make some changes for things that I know are not wrong. Being a refugee, facing some of life realities, I would love to be part of change makers and policy makers in the world. Thank you.
I have a question about the condition of the Democratic Republic of Congo. What exactly are the rebels fighting for?
Good questions. Congo has been in conflict for more than 15 years today. And what they are fighting for is nothing than natural resources. Nothing than that.
So if the government were to finish the rebels or some type of peace treaty and the government were to control those resources, do you think that the economy of the Democratic Republic of Congo will go up?
Definitively. Only that's what we need.
One last question. Are you thinking about entering politics?
I wouldn't want to be a politician, but a change maker. Politics sounds so crazy, and especially in Africa. Unless in a few years you'll see my head somewhere buried. It's crazy, man.
It is, but I think you'll be able to do it. I think you could be the president of the Congo.
I wish. Thank you very much.
How did you become one of the 1%, and what was that experience like for you? Did you speak English already? How were you selected, and how long were you in a refugee camp? How old were you?
I was not in a refugee camp. I was in Kampala, which was similar to a refugee camp. And I started this struggle time when I was 17. And, to make all this possible, it's just because seeing what my family was facing, what other people are facing, I saw that there was a need. I realized that there was a need that needed to be addressed. And that's how I get into this. I don't think if I answer your questions correct. Can you come again? How?
How did you get to the United States? How were you chosen?
Yeah, thank you. I missed that part. That's why I was saying resettlement is not your choice, either you're right. After spending many years in Uganda, my house got burnt, completely down, and my mom passed away. No home, no place to be. We found ourselves outside with my brothers and my dad. So addressing the issue to the UNHCR, it took time still. They want to have insecurity purposes to get somebody out of the country. So once my dad decided to okay, if you're not gonna set us free or give us peace, whatever, I'm gonna go back to the country. If I'm gonna die, that was my kid, that's all. And that's how they were like, oh, there is oppression, and then America resettled us. But what they do is they send invitations to countries, Canada, America, Denmark, UK. So whatever country that welcomes you the first, that's where you go. So being here today, I didn't decide to come to America. I didn't know that I would come to San Diego. I've never been my dream, though. But I'm here, and that's how it happened.
Okay, so you're telling us to start making a change and stuff? Okay, people see us as just kids, right? How can we start making a change now?
I've got that question earlier again, and I like the way you're talking about it. People seeing us like a kid. How can you make change? It's very easy. I said earlier, it doesn't matter your age. I remember very back, I was 15 when I was mobilizing my community, at least to do community work into our area. So you can make change into different ways. What matters is not your age, but the cause of what you're advocating for. Wherever you're advocating for something that everyone sees that is very, very necessary or very good, they will go for it. I was 18 years old, almost, when I started getting into nonprofit and change stuff. But I did not have anything. But I mobilized people from elders and kids and children because I had a cause, I had a message to give to them. So never mind how age you are, you can do it. By raising awareness, speaking to people, and stuff like that, you can do it.
Hi. Well, first of all, I want to say that I'm glad that you actually did something instead of just complaining. That is really admirable. And I want to ask, what was the biggest difficulty you had when you created Yare, and how did you solve it?
It depends. The very difficult moment I can say was when my mom passed away. That was the very difficult moment. But the other side of, talking to people and mobilizing the youth was a little bit easier because of soccer and the message I was carrying. But also, there was a problem of acceptance into other people. People were telling me, you're very young, you're a refugee, how are you going to do this? People need thousands of money. People function with grants and donors in order to do this. But I was like, we can do it in local ways. And that's how it became that huge. So the biggest challenge that I got was when my mom passed away. I felt like it's the end of the world, and I felt that I cannot do any other thing. I was thinking that I'm useless at that time because I was really desperate. My mom was really a very hope to me, and then I lost her. So having that motivation of going forward was very hard. But nevertheless, I got back my courage and push and do more and understand that anything can happen in life, no matter what situation you're facing, we can still do something.
Thank you. I wanted to ask you that how did you deal with society rejection, the perspective of society about you, and the different stereotypes?
It's crazy. Sometimes there is no way you can deal with it. Just embrace it and forget about it. When you're in a country of refuge, people are telling you to go back to your country where you cannot go. Where people are insulting you. It happens even they take garbages, trash. You wake up in the morning, you found trash in front of your door. Just take it back and put it back to the trash and stuff like that. So to deal with it, you just forget about it and understand that I'm traveling, I'm going somewhere. Because if you're to complain, where are you going? You don't know what is in front of you, and there is maybe fire behind you. So just embrace it and be strong. That's the only thing. I was strong, my family was strong, and others were strong, and I was communicating that strongness into other people.
My other question is, did you have a role model, and how did you continue maybe to follow his steps or her steps?
My role model were some people that I learned that made changes in the world. I learned about a lot of people around, and then I was asking how do they make those things. I was like, I think I can do it too. So different people, from Nelson Mandela to Henri Dunant was the founder of Say. I don't know how guys call it in French. People like that did great stuff. I was like, I want to be like those people and do something helping the community and change the world.
How do you felt when you were doing how do you feel when you were doing this project, like the experience, how do you feel?
First of all, I was feeling like I'm doing something that is not meant for people of my age, first of all. Secondly, I was feeling like there is a need that needs to be addressed, but it's not addressed. Services that need to be done, but it's not done, so what should we do? But the bad feeling that I had and that I have, it's when you're doing great things, when you're doing stuff with not any support to allow you to do more. And people that sometimes they don't do greater than what you do, they're getting a lot of support and they don't do what you do, you see? Sometimes as a human being, you feel like it's like I'm doing something for nothing. At the same time, you have encouragement from the community and from the people you serve. Why? Because of the change you see into their world. That was the very biggest thing. I always imagine if I wouldn't done anything, or my colleagues and today I'm in the US, and seeing the number of people and seeing the change that have been done, and if I didn't do that, no matter what situations or finances or hardship and everything, would be just something in vain. But I did it, even though those things weren't out there, which what makes me really happy.
Thank you.
Do you think that the myths about the UN not doing anything, they're just wasting money for the rebels and they're just taking the food are real, or are they just misconceptions?
I think a lot of stuff are political that I wouldn't want to get into. And if you can understand things of refugee or Congo situations, it's more political. So I wouldn't want to get deep into that topic because it can take another next an hour. But they are doing a great job in the level where they are doing. But what I cannot stand is, let's say Congo, there is a huge number of peacekeeping in more than 15 years, more than 20,000 UN peacekeepers, but they don't do anything. There has never been peace. And that is one of the security agencies that spent more than trillions of dollars in a year to make peace into Congo, and especially the east part of it. But there has never been peace. So to me, I don't think if there is really a great work into that. And that's why I come back to what I was saying, it's political, that I wouldn't want to get into it.
Here's a question.
I have two questions. First, I want to know what was like the most deepest thing that ignited the flame that burns in you.
The most?
Yeah, like the
most
deepest,
what?
like, what?
Come again, I don't.
Like, you know, like you have a flame that burns inside of you. You have this energy that's just so dominant. What's the deepest thing that ignited that?
The most worst moment?
Well, not the worst moment, but like what was it? Like what was your motivation? What inspired you?
Oh, my motivations. Yeah, thank you. I think I was inspired into different levels. First of all, let's say the person that inspired me a lot, apart from people that may change the world, my mom was a really good motivator into my life and into whatever I was doing. But also, seeing change into some areas also motivated me because I realized that I'm doing something than anything, you know? So seeing that there is change was motivating me, no matter all the situation and everything and hardship and all these things. But seeing that there is something done, it motivated me at the same time. So there was always courage and pushing me like, you can still do it because you can see what the result. You can still do it because you can see this and this and this and that.
Did you ever, when you started changing just your community, did you ever have the thought that it would progress into an international, like?
I never thought about that. Everything that happened in my life happened just like this. My organization started under a tree, just mobilizing people. But today, it has grown up and doing a lot of stuff, and we are looking forward to be part of the policy changes into Uganda, and especially in refugee situation. So I had a vision of where I wanted to be one day and change things, but I didn't know really how they're gonna get there because of all the situations that was, happening.
Well,
there is always peace talks every day, every month, but there has never been good solutions to it. What do you mean recently? Let's go back to Uganda. Every program that was implemented and everything that was done, that was part of the big changes that I did. Training people, teaching them, guide them in what they can do, communicating future and hope into their lives, creating all these trainings and opportunities that they may be, are favored to them, and also advocating into the government toward refugee situations was a big change. In fact, in 2012, some of the UN agencies and international organizations recognizes the power of grassroots organization or grassroots ES organization from what they are doing and the change they are making versus what the international organizations are doing in a big scale level, And apart from that, I do a lot of advocacy and speaking even into people, just the way I'm informing to you today, just being part of the change agent and raising awareness in everywhere or every level you can into that. But also I raise funds for refugees in Kampala. And this last past year, 2013, I was dedicating myself to raise support to support women refugees that were recently resettled in Kampala as refugees into vocational trainings, enabling them to be self-sufficient and help themselves. So I do quite stuff like that just to make sure at least something is done.
We're out of time for the question and answer session. Thank you, Mr. Murhula.
Thank you.